sense within our prayer. This is one of the wisdoms of the standing at night in prayer. Many of us don't know what the Qari is going to recite. So what do we do about it? One of the things is to stir these two meanings. Stir the sense that you are in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is beholding you. And when you say Allahu Akbar, this is called takbir, because you now magnified Allah. Right? You have affirmed that I am in the presence of the great king. Right? So if you're in the presence of the great king, it's called the tahrima. Right? Because now you've entered into his harim, right? His sacred space. Right? Where nothing else but concern for Allah is permitted. Right? You can't, while you're praying, you can't look for your cell phone. You can't check, okay, how many steps did I do today? Oops. I'll walk around and get my steps for the day. You can't do anything else. Why? Because you're in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you nurture that meaning of Allah being present with you. Right? And this opens that spiritual consciousness. And what kind of thoughts would you have if you're in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And you are in the presence of Allah. Right? You've directed yourself completely to Allah. The sense of awe of Allah, the sense of joy, the sense of love, the sense of gratitude. Who are you to have the right to worship Allah? Right? Who are you? But He's gifted you the act of being in His presence. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have created us with no capacity to know Him whatsoever. When they asked Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, بِمَا عَرَفْتَ رَبَّكَ? How did you come to know Allah? He said, عَرَفْتُ رَبِّي بِرَبِّي وَلَوْلَا رَبِّي لَمَا عَرَفْتُ رَبِّي. He said, I came to know my Lord by my Lord. And had it not been for my Lord, I would not have known my Lord. It's a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what the prayer is about, being present with Allah. And one of the wisdoms of standing in Taraweeh is that it's meant to train within us this sense of standing before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what the i'tikaf does too. You're standing at the door of the divine, saying, let me in. I'm going to just stay there till you let me in. Right? And stir these meanings that I am in the presence of Allah. Right? And reflect on it. I am in the presence of Allah. Right? So even when you don't understand what's being said, you think about these meanings of awe, of reverence, of love, of gratitude, of hope, of fear, and of shyness before Allah, of renewing your commitment before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they say, you need to remain silent behind the Imam, but within yourself, if it helps, right, without moving your tongue, it can help to say, Ya Allah or Ya Rabb. Right? As you breathe, right? One of the things some of the scholars mention, this is not specifically from but you stand, you stir these meanings of the sense of what they call istihdar, right? Of bringing to mind that you're present, you're hadir, you're present with Allah. So you refresh that. Especially if there's verses being recited that you don't understand, it can help. As you pay attention to the verses, as you breathe, just as you breathe in, bring to mind, Ya Allah. When you breathe out, Ya Rabb. Right? Just, till you regulate your breathing, and you make your breathing deliberate. Right? And that way you can't. So your heart is active as you stand in prayer. Because if you don't busy yourself with deliberate consciousness, you'll be busied with the default heedlessness. And at complete loss, says Ibn Ata'illah, is a servant who does not make a great share of their life dealing devoted to your love. Right? Because that is the quality that distinguishes true believers. يُحِبُّهُمْ وَيُحِبُّونَهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 54. He loves them and they love Him. And Allah's love is there already. يُحِبُّهُمْ. The question though is, where is our love for Him subhanahu wa ta'ala? Right? And it's as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Ya abdi, ana laka muhib. That, oh my servant, I love you. فَبِحَقِّي عَلَيْكَ كُنْ لِي مُحِبًّا. So by my right over you, love me. Right? And that's amazing. Right? That the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves His creation, but do we love Him? So these are meanings that we should stir within ourselves as we stand in the prayer. Right? And likewise, when we feel these moments of weakness, when we feel the moments of weakness, we should stir these meanings. And